Hello, beautiful people. It's Sindafam. Welcome to the channel. Today, we're back again with another video, and this is from the Fallen States and also Katie Hopkins. We're gonna be checking this video together. Let's check it out.
That brings me to my next question. I'm a nationalist, but in America today, if you're white, you cannot say you're a nationalist. Are you a nationalist?
I'm a nationalist.
What do you think about the idea that white people in America cannot say that they're a nationalist? President Trump said it. He said, I'm a nationalist, and all hell broke loose. The children of the lie had a hissy fit.
Liberal tears, liberal tears.
Yeah, racist, and all kind. He supported white supremacy, all kind of stuff they said, but he didn't care.
No, and I think it's a glorious thing. You know, there's some nations that are allowed to be proud of their nationality, I see.
Yeah.
So we have it in the UK. There's a place called Wales. Nobody really knows Wales.
I've heard it.
They're very strange people.
Yeah.
But they're allowed to be proud of being Welsh. They promote the Welsh language, which nobody uses. They have a Welsh flag and they're proud to fly it. If we fly a Union flag, our flag, that's seen as racist.
Right.
It's bizarre.
Yeah.
So there's some nations that are allowed to be proud of their nationality if they've been approved by progressives, and there's some nations that aren't allowed to be proud of their nationality. And I'm a nationalist. And I think one of the things I say to people who say, well, we can't say we're nationalists, well, I kind of look at you and say, well, that's partly your doing.
That's right.
Because if you don't say it, you make it so that the next person can't say it.
That's right.
Unless you're prepared to take a stand, you know, for whatever reason and say it, you're making it so the next person can't say
That's
it as
right.
well. You know, there has to be a point surely where more people, and Trump is trying to empower people, or Trump is trying to give people the self-confidence to be true to their beliefs, whatever they are. I genuinely believe that with Trump.
I call him the great white hope.
He is.
Now, based on the fact that woke ideology is everywhere, or because people want to be influenced by woke ideology, people are afraid of being proud of where they come from, especially in the Western countries or Western part of the world, because they always want to make reference to people either being guilty or being victims or being oppressed or seeing themselves as the oppressor and all of that scheme and all that. So they tell you, or they kind of tell you, well, you shouldn't be proud, or you shouldn't um acknowledge where you come from. Always see yourself as the victim. And when people are talking, or when people want to make accomplishment or reference to accomplishment, they're always going to make references to bad events or things that have happened, or the bad things that have happened, and you shouldn't see the good of the land. Why is that? I keep asking this question. In regards to history, lots of things happened, good and bad, and it seems to me that the people that are supposed to be proud to be part of the good of the land don't want to be proud. Rather, they just want to pick up only the pieces of the negatives and say, well, this country or where you're from did something wrong. Listen, even us as human beings or us as individuals, regardless of how we want to see ourselves, in the eyes of some people, you're good. In the eyes of some people, you're bad. And people are going to paint the narrative that fits them. But again, why do people think that, oh, well, you have to be guilty for something your ancestors did or something you have no knowledge about? People are just telling you a certain narrative that fits whatever agenda they're pushing. Why is that? Why can't people just be proud of where they're from and forget about the bad things, or just don't dwell so much on the bad things that happened? Because obviously, let's look at it this way. If your great grandfather stole something and he didn't get the punishment and he passed, are you going to take the punishment, or should you be punished for the sins of your grandfather? Of course not. Or should you go to jail for what your grandfather did or great grandfather did? Of course not. So why is it that today people so dwell on things in the past and don't want to focus on the future? Why is it?
Yes, the great white ginger hope.
That's right.
Yeah.
Do you know who Piers Morgan is? So
He's an Uber cockwomble. He's an Uber twat.
I was on his show.
Do you like him?
I was on his show.
Were you?
And
How nice of him to have you on.
no, you won't think that as a.
I was joking. I was being sarcastic.
He was asking me about Black Lives Matter and racism and all that, and I said there's no such thing as racism. It's a made-up lie.
Did he turn you down as you were talking?
You're absolutely right. And I said that Black Lives Matter is a far left liberal radical
terrorist
organization,
group, yeah.
worse than the KKK, founded by a bunch of black lesbians, and they cut me off.
That's so funny because Piers Morgan, his modus operandi, bear in mind he was the editor of a newspaper in the UK, a big, well-read newspaper called The Mirror, and he put on the front cover of that newspaper images of our troops committing an offence by allegedly urinating on captive forces from a different army. I don't need to go into the detail massively, but he put that picture on the front cover of his newspaper, and it was a fake picture. It was a fraudulent picture, and you can imagine for our British troops the impact that would have, that as if they would be disrespectful to another force's army. And that's the same man. That's Piers Morgan. And suddenly he's been reinvented, he's been laundered, and all of a sudden he's the friendly face of morning TV. But there are a great many people in the UK who remember that picture. All of my forces friends will not forgive that picture.
That's right.
So, don't imagine that he's the big nice guy of the UK. He's not. And his opinion blows in the wind. If he needs to be left-wing today, he's left-wing. If it needs to be pro-Trump today, he's pro-Trump.
Amazing.
And he would have had you on thinking that you were a black guy who was going to say the things he would like a black guy to say. And I think that is entirely disrespectful to any gentleman or woman of colour or any white person too. We don't have a script.
He's a beta male.
He is so beta. People say I have bigger bollocks than Piers Morgan.
Absolutely.
I think it's true.
Fat shaming. You are known for fat shaming. I'm watching your video and these fat people sitting there. You're like, no.
You've had people that
call
fill
it whatever
these
you
seats.
want, but it's fat.
Yes. So these seats do remind me a bit of. I did a documentary called My Fat Story.
Yes.
And I put on, how do you do weight here? Do you do it in stones or pounds? You do it in pounds, don't you? So I'm like 130, I was like 130 pounds, right?
Yes.
So I said, I know, because fat people really annoy me when they don't own the fact that it's their fault they're fat.
Right.
Like if you just want to go and be fat,
That's
be
right.
fat.
That's
Great,
right.
fine, kill yourself, no drama. But if you want me to feel sorry for you for your fat, or to imagine it's not your fault, or that you've got fat bones, or that fat runs in your family, that's not going to happen. So I said, right, I'll put on half my body weight, 60 pounds, and lose it again to prove that I can be fat, and fat people are lazy. And so I did that.
That's right.
So I took 3 months, I put on half my body weight, I was huge and fat, I had this huge thing here, and I thought, right, this is going to be great. I'm going to put on 60 pounds on my boobs, sorry for this. So I'd have these huge boobs, I was really excited.
Right.
And that didn't happen. I put it all on here.
On the belly.
And then I was like, people thought I was pregnant. I got given first in the queue in the bathroom. People let me go in front to the queue in the bathroom. Yeah. I got sent flowers for the baby I wasn't having. And so then I lost it again in 3 months as well, to show that all you have to do is eat a bit less, move a bit more, and you won't be as fat. So that's all. It wasn't really fat shaming. It was just saying the only way you'll lose weight is by knowing you've got a problem and you can solve it.
Right.
Absolutely. And people talking about fat people or obesity and telling them to lose weight is not hating or body shaming or fat shaming them. Obviously, people just want to read off so many men. And I think people take things too seriously in their society, because everybody or everything has to be woke, or people really just want to be so woke, or want to push woke ideology or push a certain agenda and make people feel sorry for themselves all the time. We have to do better in the society. But let me know what you think so far. I'm sure tons of people have interesting things to share. I would really love to share that. Can share the useful information you think might be really helpful. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe on all that stuff. And until next time, see you in the next video.